All right guys, in this video I have something a little bit different. I'm just gonna talk to you about something that's been on my mind based on a lot of the DMs I've gotten on some of my social media pages, comments and things like that. And that is just some of the struggles and hurdles and mistakes people are making when it comes to starting their side hustle and creating some passive income or creating an online business for themselves. In particular, I wanna talk about two big mistakes that I see all too often, and I am guilty of these as well. I have made both of these mistakes, and interestingly enough, they're kind of the inverse of each other. But if you're out there and you're watching this and maybe you're struggling with your side hustle or starting an online business or just getting the ball rolling to making some extra money online, I would be willing to bet you fall into one of these two camps. All right, so the first mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they're just simply spread too thin. They just have too many irons in the fire. Now, I was so guilty of this. Depending on your personality type, you may be the type that wants to start new businesses and learn new techniques and learn new strategies. And that's great, but it can be a detriment. And for years, I wasted so much time because I was obsessed with starting side hustles, but not obsessed with actually building them to a sustainable level of growth and return. Instead, I was just starting one over here and starting one over here and starting this over here. And then before I knew it, this one would fall behind and this one would fall off my radar. And oh man, I got to go back and get that. I'm going to put a list here of all the side hustles I've done over the past 7 or 8 years. And you can see I learned a lot of experience, but I was stagnant for years because I wasted so much time trying to figure out which side hustle is best for me. At some point, you're doing too much. You're spread too thin and you're losing focus. You're not going to be able to devote the quality time or the quality resources that you need in order to build these up. So ask yourself, do you have too many irons in the fire? Are you spread too thin with either your responsibilities or distractions, your side hustles, whatever case it may be? When I started my side hustle journey 7 or 8 years ago, I had 0 side hustles going, right? And then I built 1, and then 2, and then 3, 4. And before I knew it, I was at like 10 or 12 different side hustles, but I wasn't really making it on any of them. I just felt really busy. I had a lot going on, but I didn't feel focused. And slowly over the years, that's come down from 10 to 9, 8, 7, 6. Now I have just a small handful, around 3 or 4 side hustles, with 1 or 2 of them being my primary side hustle that is my bread and butter where I put the majority of my time. It's taken me a long time to realize how much time I wasted by being spread too thin and having too many irons in the fire. It's okay to learn and do a little bit of testing, but at some point you've got to pick a few and commit. And that brings me to my mistake number 2. So the second mistake that I see so many people make, and trust me, I'm guilty of this too. There's no easy way to put this, but it's just being half-assed. It's not fully committing what it takes to be successful with your side hustles. And look, I get it. Everybody wants to make money online. Everybody wants to get rich quick overnight. But the reality is that's just really not how it works, except for maybe a few small exceptions. The majority of seasoned entrepreneurs or people who've been doing this business for years will tell you the biggest attribute is consistency. It's dedication and consistency. And too many people don't put in enough effort. They just half-ass it. They just think, oh, I'll just throw up a couple designs and kind of see what happens. Next thing you know, 2, 3, 6 months go by and they're not seeing the results they like. They're not pivoting, they're not testing, they're not hungry for it and salivating at the thought and idea of trying to make it work and be successful. Where can I expand? How can I learn more about this? How can I get a competitive advantage? Or how can I use my skill set or learn a new skill set so that I can succeed? This business of making money online and starting side hustles takes a lot of luck, but more importantly, it takes dedication and consistency. And giving up too early or being kind of nonchalant, thinking, I'll just make a little bit here or there, that's really not gonna get you to that next level. Now, if you're the type of person that just wants to make 50 bucks a week or 100 bucks a month, just a little side cash, that's fine. Maybe this message isn't for you. I'm talking about the people who have been stuck in this purgatory where they're like, man, I've been grinding away for years, but I just can't break through. I would be willing to bet you're either A, spread too thin and you don't have enough focus, or B, you're just not digging deep enough and working hard enough to be successful in that particular side hustle. Now, I'm partly making this video for you who's watching, but I'm kind of making it for myself too, because I still struggle with both of these problems. As I mentioned before, I have been so lost in focus when I have too many side hustles going. And I mean, I've literally woken up and said, oh, I got to check my Etsy shops. Oh, I've got to write an article for my blog. Oh, I've got to film a YouTube video. Oh, I've got to create a print-on-demand design. Oh, I've got to hire an outsource for KDP. Oh, I've got to work on my newsletter, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, eventually you get spread too thin. So I'm making this for you, but also for myself to say, hey, stay on track. Take some time to write down your goals. Figure out where it is you really want to dive deep on and eliminate the fluff. Get rid of the fat. Get rid of the stuff that's a distraction. Maybe Netflix is a distraction. Maybe computer games are a distraction. Whatever it may be, you've got to eliminate the fluff, take out the distractions, and focus in on your core side hustles, the things that you really want to move the needle for. And then you've got to dive down deep and really commit to them. I'll give you one example before I end this video, and that's the Amazon Influencer Program. Last February, I started the Amazon Influencer Program. I knew very little about it, but I just jumped in and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go as hard as I can for 30 days. So I gave myself that 30-day window and I said, no matter what, I'm not gonna let off the gas. I'm gonna work as hard as I can for 30 days and see what happens. So I committed. I went all in for 30 days and I had some astounding results. Now that's developed into my second most profitable and popular side hustle that I've started. During that time window, I focused only on the Amazon Influencer Program. I was obsessed. I was laser focused on it, but I was able to produce a huge amount of videos, get a lot of data and a lot of results, and that motivated me and taught me so many lessons so I could build upon that throughout the remainder of the year. I get it, trust me. In the world of YouTube gurus and social media, it puts this false expectation that anyone can make money online overnight and become a millionaire. And it's just not the case. So I want to share something with you that I've learned over the past couple years, and that is that there are two main characteristics that lead to success when it comes to starting a side hustle and creating an online business. Number one is consistency, and number two is hard work. And both of those wrap back into the mistakes that I see people making. One is they're not consistent because they have too many irons in the fire. They're simply spread too thin. Eliminate the things that are a distraction, whether that's a separate side hustle or something in your personal life or your professional life. You have to stay focused and consistent in order to see results. And the second thing is hard work. You may just not be working hard enough. I know that can be hard to hear, but somebody out there may be working harder. So in order for you to achieve that same level of results, you got to get a little fire underneath you, you got to get a little competitive, and you got to hustle and grind hard. That may be learning a new skill, that may be tapping into a new resource, that may be pivoting, whatever the case may be, but you've got to work hard over a long period of time. That's how you make it in this business. So if you're struggling, maybe ask yourself and be honest. Have a real internal conversation with yourself and say, am I too distracted? Am I focused on my goals and side hustles? And secondly, am I working hard enough? Is there an opportunity for me to work harder? And if so, how do I do that? How do I accomplish it? Mindset, strategy, motivation, these are all internal components that each of us struggle with no matter what kind of side hustle or business you're in. I want to start making more content about that, so I'd love to hear your feedback on if this is helpful. And if you enjoy this sort of thing, you should sign up for my newsletter. There's a link below down in the description. In the meantime, I hope you guys are crushing it out there on your side hustles. If you have a question or something I can help with, let me know down below, and thanks for watching. Later.